Right, bees. When we think of bees, we all think about bumblebees and we all think about honeybees. Well, just out of a matter of interest, one or two facts is there's about 27 different types of bumblebee. And there's 260 odd types of other bees, of which 60 odd are cuckoo bees, i.e. they lay their eggs in other bees' nests. You might see bees at home and not recognise them, but you've got more common ones. You've got minor bees and mason bees. You've seen the bumblebees. There's 27 different types of bumblebee, as I said. Bumblebees fly at lower temperatures, so early in the spring you'll see bumblebees about, whereas the honeybees are tucked up in bed, so to speak. Right. Now this time of the year is the time of the year when we're getting ready for next year, like in farming. It's like any other branch of farming. So now I'm preparing my bees. I've fed them. I've been taking all their honey off and robbed them. I've got to give them something back. So I feed them a mixture of sugar and water. It's a concentrated sugar and water solution, 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. And that allows them then to evaporate that down to what they want and cap it. I'll let these people come in.
You did?
Margaret.
Yes.
Come on, Mark. Sorry about that.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm glad to have you.
Nice to see you. I got onto surgery quick, so.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
So now I'm feeding the bees and making sure they've got enough stores to get them through the winter. And they need about 40 pounds of stores. So what I do is I check the weight of the hive, and you know that from testing. You test the weight of the hive. You test each corner just to make sure there's enough food. I always check that they're taking in pollen. You'll see the pollen on the back legs. It's a special, the leg has got a joint in it where they compress the pollen and then they stick it on the hairs. The pollen is the protein. The nectar is the carbohydrates. We all need carbohydrates, we all need protein. And bees need both as well. But they also need water, which not everybody realises. And so when I site my hives, I try and site them near a water source. So not where it's going to flood, but near where they can get to water. And when I go out, take my dog out for a walk, I've got some hives nearby, I'll go and check, and I can see them at the side of the stream taking the water in. They need 50% water and 50% nectar in their tummies. And they need a lot because when they're flying, they consume a heck of a lot. Now this time of the year, as I said before, the bees are getting ready for the winter. The summer bees will be dying off. The summer bees are thinner and slimmer. The winter bees are fatter, and therefore, because they're fatter, they've got more body substance to keep warm during the winter. They don't actually sleep. They don't actually hibernate. They just go into a dormant state, and they keep warm by clustering tighter and tighter together in the hive. And to keep warm, if they're getting cold, they move their wing muscles. They vibrate their wing muscles. The bees on the outside, as they get cold, go inside, and the bees on the inside come to the outside. So all the time you've got a movement within the hive. And the bees, a colony of bees, is known as a superorganism. Yeah? It consists of, now you've got female bees, who are the worker bees, and you've got the queen bee. The queen bee can lay 1,500 to 2,000 eggs a day. And she'll lay for about 10 days. So that's going to be somewhere in the region of 150,000 eggs in 10 days. And the egg starts off at an upright position at the bottom of the cell. It starts off straight up, and so you've got day 1, and day 2 it's at an angle, and day 3 it's flat. And after day 3 the larvae hatches out. So when you're looking in the beehive and inspecting the beehive, you're looking to see that they're eggs and larvae, and that they're healthy, because bees get diseases. You've got different types of diseases. They get respiratory diseases, and they get bad tummy, they can get dysentery. And so you've got to check to make sure that your bees are healthy. They also get other diseases, which are notifiable diseases, notifiable to DEFRA. These notifiable diseases are called European foul brood. It can be cured, but it's the larvae dies in the cell and creates a horrible mess. And so what you need to do is to keep a check and change the frames on a regular basis. The other disease is American foul brood, AFB. If you have that, the bee inspector comes and he will destroy the hive because it's so contagious. So what they do in that case is dig a hole, pour a pint of petrol in, chuck everything in the hole and throw a match on it. And so as beekeepers, we've got to watch out for those diseases. And you've got to make sure that you don't pass those diseases round your hive, so you keep all your instruments, all your tools sterilised. To do that, we have a bucket. I have a bucket, which consists of a bucket of water with washing soda. And the washing soda kills off the bacteria. And then you wash your gloves, change, and then I'll go on to another apiary. And I got 24 hives scattered up and down the Golden Valley. And this year has been very good. We've had nearly half a tonne of honey this year from 24 hives. Right. Now, some of the products in the beehive, you've got wax, and you've got honey, and you've got a sticky substance, if I can find it, called propolis. A propolis is what the bees use to waterproof the hive. So each time you go in the hive, you've got to crack it open, and your gloves and everything gets sticky with this propolis. And the propolis is from the sap of trees. I'll pass this round so people can have a smell. And you can smell the trees. And there's a piece of wax. You can smell the wax as well. There's a piece of wax to go that way. Now when the bees, lovely isn't it? When the bees come back from foraging, they then pass the nectar that they've got to a house bee. And that house bee will then digest that honey and mix it with enzymes in the stomach. And then they regurgitate that, if you like, and put that into the cells. It's then evaporated down so that the honey contains only 18 to 20% moisture. Once it reaches that stage, they then put a cap on the top, and that's it, that's stored away. And then the beekeeper comes along and pinches it off them. Okay. Now this is from the cappings. As I take the cappings off, I melt that down, and then I extract the honey by spinning it round. Oh, sorry. We'll give you a taste of honey later.
Can you tell me what that stuff in the jar was called?
This one is called propolis.
How do you spell that?
P-R-O-L-L-I-S.
No, P-R-O-P.
P-R-O-P, sorry. P-R-O-P. Oh, well. Me will tell you. I'm no good at spelling. I'm no good at spelling.
P-R-O-P-O-L-I-S.
And the other thing the bees bring back is pollen, which we've said, which is the protein. And each flower has a different colour pollen. So there's some charts there for you to look at. which show the different colours of the different pollens.
Okay.
It tells you at the top whether it's a spring flower or a summer flower. Now, early on